welcome back. Another massive week.
Oh, massive week. And I'm so excited
I know.
because Steph went on a date last night.
Okay, all right.
And I don't know a thing. Like, I know one thing.
I have been holding out from Holly all day so that I could give the tea all at once.
To the point where people knew she went on this date last night and they would ask about it. And I'd be like, no, you can't talk about it because I need to hear about it first thing on this pod.
We saw our barista this morning and she was like, tell me everything. And I was like, I can't.
You
like,
need to
what?
wait.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. So I went on a date with this guy.
Yep. How old?
29.
Wow.
Yes. This was the guy that I was talking to on the dating app from last weekend to the weekend before when we were all scrolling and Ruby and Jimmy were like, yeah, that one, whatever.
Yeah.
We tried to organise something for last week, just wasn't lining up. We've gone on a date this week. We've gone for some wines. I'm late, then he's late. Not the end of the world. Not
okay.
Right? I know.
I thought he wasn't late.
I know. I thought he was already there.
Because he was like, I don't know how much you text. I also didn't want to be talking about this whole date prior to it in case it made you nervous. So I didn't really ask many questions leading up to. But you, obviously, you talk most days.
Yeah.
But on the day of, you're like, he's texting me a lot. And I was like, that sort of is normal, I think. And you're like, no, but like maybe too much.
No, I didn't say he was texting too much.
Okay. Anyway, because when we were on the way there, I think you did.
Dude, why are you telling the story? You don't know the story.
Me.
Okay, no, pause. I didn't say he was texting too much. He was texting as I was on the
Getting
way
there.
to the date. Yeah, right.
Okay, so when he was texting you that much, I thought he was there waiting and being like, fuck, this is awkward that I'm here by myself. Anyway.
It seemed like he was already there. So I wonder if maybe he ducked down somewhere else to have a couple himself and then came back.
Okay, yeah.
Exactly. I didn't think he was like, anyway, whatever. We're going fully off track. So I get to this date, right? Yeah. There's a couple down the end.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's another person sitting next to us by themselves with the two dogs.
Yep.
And then there's us.
Uh-huh.
And we start chatting, obviously. I'm just going to jump straight into it.
Were you nervous?
Basically.
Were you nervous?
Going there a tiny bit.
Okay.
But then when the siren goes, you're like, it's game time. Okay. So I was fine.
Sport analogy. Let's go.
I was like, ready to rock and roll. I'm going to jump ahead.
Yeah.
And spoiler, I actually left the date with somebody else's number.
Oh my
who
God.
texted me this morning.
Okay.
Which is wild.
I'm feeling like this isn't like a romantic number.
Why? What makes you say that?
Because I know you.
Okay, yeah. Because I'm not a hoe. But yes, okay. So guys, this was actually wild. So basically, he and I sit down, we get a bottle of red, like we're sitting there having a quick chat, whatever. And then this person sitting next to us with the two dogs jumps in. She must overhear that I've said something about teaching and she goes, oh, would you ever go back to teaching? And then she's like, oh, sorry to interrupt or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And
How
I'm
old
like,
was she?
Let's say 60s. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Anyway, she's like, oh, sorry to jump in, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, it's so fine, whatever. Then I'm like, oh, are you here by yourself tonight? She's like, yeah, I often do this, telling us bits and pieces. And then I said, oh, what do you do with yourself? And
you're trying to talk to anyone but your date?
Wow. Well, anyway, she says to us, she has done the largest study on human predators.
Oh my God, shut up.
Yes. Then she was like, so for example, the couple sitting next to me, and I go, yeah. And she goes, he was definitely a psychopath.
What?
Yeah. She was like, he was a psychopath. And she goes, I don't know if they were like on a first date or they were well into dating. And she's like, but she was definitely the perfect prey.
So
this woman, she's only ever sat down with like all these big dogs. She's like, I get invited on that many pods. It's not even funny. She's like, I say no to most things. I go, what's one thing that you can tell that someone's got like a dark? And she was saying it's psychopaths. It's not sociopaths. She was like, psychopaths are a different breed. She was like, they have a literal different wiring in their prefrontal cortex.
They're born like that, whereas sociopaths become like that because of their
But she would also debunk you here too.
Growing up.
Right. She would debunk that as well. Like this research she's done is the most extensive there is out there.
I'm offended.
Anyway, so she was saying how old mate was a psychopath. I'm like, how do you know? She's like, okay, one physical feature is psychopaths. They have an asymmetrical face.
Uh-huh.
They always have one dead eye and that side of their mouth won't completely raise when they smile like the rest of them. And I said, is it true that there's a lot of CEOs that are actually psychopaths. And she said a lot of CEOs, a lot of judges. But I've mentioned a few people that we know.
Oh, great. Well, of
and
course.
She's bought this.
These people are probably psychopaths.
She's bought them up and she's doing this for ages.
Oh, my God.
So she would sit there and like cover kind of half the face and have a look. I point to my date and I'm like, is he a psychopath? And he kind of like sits up.
He's
like,
trying to smile.
Himself.
He's trying to smile with both sides of his face.
He literally was. He was like, oh, shit. So she's sitting there and she's like, I don't know if she's half pissed or not, but she's doing these ones in front of his face.
So she's properly like examining him.
She's like assessing him. And I'm sitting there like this.
Oh,
I've got like my red wine and I'm like leaned back. Like I leant like this the whole time. I'm like leaned back. I'm like watching thinking,
Oh, God.
And she was like, nah, he's fine. And I was like, and then he goes, is she? To me. And I was like,
She looked at him and she's like, run, bitch.
And I was like, then I got really nervous. So she's like, and then she didn't spend long on me at all. She goes, no, she's too expressive. And I was like, oh, slightly offended. It's because I can't afford Botox at the moment. But once I can. Anyway, so we're having this chat.
Who's the photo she showed you?
The photo she showed me.
Dude.
I'm so sorry, guys. I'm hungover. I'm really hungover. This date was last night, guys. This is the photo she showed me who she's assessing.
No.
Yeah. She goes like this.
Go. Okay.
And then she goes like that. Terrifying.
Oh my God.
Someone we know and a big dog.
A big dog, man.
And I reckon you would know them too, Bray.
What?
Yeah.
Comes
and did it to
so
like
lovely and has like kids and shit.
And that's kind of the point. And then
I'm shook.
And think of this person's partner.
Oh my God.
Are you dying or what?
Oh my God.
I was on a date. But this woman.
You're like, but boo, that was boring.
This woman that sat next to us was so intelligent that it was pretty much her and I having this date the whole time. Because when I tell you, let's say this date went for like 4 hours, we were with her for 3 hours and 20 minutes.
I love that.
To be fair, we both loved it. And then I think he got over it because then there's this group of mums that sit next to me. They're only a few years older than me, all these mums, but they've all got 3 kids. They're all hot as toast. They're full South Yarra mums, right?
Okay.
None of them work. The rocks in their fingers are like literally poking your eye out, that kind of vibe. I thought I was like kind of looking the part, like looking nice. I put in a bit of effort. Everyone that was walking past that was like just leaving work was dressed up bougier than what I was. And I was like,
No, you looked cool though.
No, thank you. I know that. But what I'm saying, I know that. But what I'm saying is bougie place. Anyway, so all these South Yarra mums are sitting next to me. I go to the toilet a couple of times. They go to the toilet a couple of times, if you know what I'm talking about.
A couple more times than you.
And they were like, you want a first date, blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah. And they were like, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. But one of them started like half coaching me through it. So she's sitting next to me. It's kind of like in Europe, in France, where you sit at these like seats and you kind of look onto the street kind of thing.
Yeah.
So one of them's like right next to me and she's like whispering in my ear and she's like, stop talking to the other woman. Like you need to give him more attention.
Oh my God. Were you like, go mind your own business?
I was like, I'm finding out about psychopaths, honey.
Oh,
like, mind your business. No, I wasn't at all. I was like, I know, but he's into it too, which he was. But then I think in like the last 20 minutes, he was like, okay, we got to cut this out. But sis, who's the genius, she actually got up and left. But then we only stayed for like another 20 minutes because it got like late, obviously.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So did you speak to your date at all?
Well, for like the first 20 minutes,
and
we
then
had
you
each
started
other
hooking up. Stephanie, that's fucking rogue. Nah, it's
hold
not
on,
rogue.
pause. You don't know if we
Slut shame.
You don't know if we started hooking up.
Yes, I do, honey,
How?
because you got home drunk as a skunk last night, breathing in my face. And I thought, girl, I didn't think actually. I said it. I said, girl, fucking back up. I can smell you from a mile away.
Okay, if your question is, did you kiss?
Yeah.
Which would be the polite way to ask somebody.
What did I say again?
Something along the lines of, you were fucking hooking up. Slut shame. Anyway, to be honest, I did not have any plans on kissing on the first date, but obviously we ended up having 2 bottles of red between us.
Yeah, so it was the red wine
It was
that decided that you guys were hooking up.
No, I don't regret it.
Okay, so
and we didn't hook up, mind you. We did kiss though.
Okay, but how? Did you kiss like what you said in that video that I took of you where you were like, what type of kiss? And then you're like, is it this kiss or is it this kiss? And I was like, that is fucked up.
That's a valid question though. If you kiss on a first date, is it like a pet goodbye?
Okay, well, which one was it? Tell us.
Do you fully French kiss?
Okay.
Tongue and all.
What sort of kiss did you do?
I actually thought it was quite smooth by him. Again, we're about a third of a bottle.
Answer the question.
I get up the second time to go to the toilet. As I'm walking past, there's not much space. He grabs my legs
and goes, Fondant. I'm kidding.
Why the fuck would he do that? Suggesting I'm built like a front rower. Anyway, I walk past, he grabs my legs and he goes, hey, before you go to the toilet.
No. Did he ask for a kiss?
Is that a problem?
Just fucking tell me how you guys kiss.
Why are you dying though?
Because you're really making this, like you're hyping this up and I'm
Guys, I feel like I'm on the magic curb here. This is what the magic curb does to me, doesn't it? It makes me really drag
hey,
stories
stop
out.
deflecting. Stop deflecting.
Okay.
Tell us fucking which one.
As I walked past, he grabbed my legs and he was like, hey, before you go to the toilet, can I get a quick kiss? It was actually like, I thought it was smooth. It was within context. Why are you reacting like you're a full-on frigid?
Did you look at those fucking mums and say, how do you like that, bitch? How do you like them apples?
Like them apples. No, because I wouldn't have spoken to them like that because we were all like vibing. They were lovely.
Yeah, like, because Holly, they were all rich.
Yeah, like I got their numbers and I'm like, hey, no.
Oh my God, it's just like, you want a show? Here we go, baby.
Now that you're doing this, it's weirding me out, but it wasn't weird.
Okay.
Why are you making it weird?
I feel weird about it.
We hung out for obviously
Did you French kiss or did you peck?
We French kissed while I was waiting for my Uber.
Amazing.
And no one calls it French kissed.
You literally started the French kiss movement just before.
Movement. I was just being silly.
Okay, but when he grabbed your thighs or whatever and then kissed you on obviously the lips.
These lips.
The lips on the face.
We're being really silly. Ask your question.
When you were walking to the toilet
Yes.
and he gave you a kiss or
Yes.
asked for a kiss, was that when you guys pecked or did you French kiss it?
No, we pecked then.
Amazing. And then you
I
French
gave
kissed
him
as
like
you got in the
a
Uber.
slow peck. We kissed before I got in my Uber. And then he asked if I wanted a second date.
And what did you say?
Well, I said, I have to ask my necklace.
I thought you were about to say, I have to ask my sister.
Why the fuck would I ask
And
you?
what did he say? Okay.
Why? Like, honestly though, why would I ask you?
Okay, after you
No, I
said
didn't have to ask my necklace. But we can come back to the
Oh,
necklace
so you
thing.
didn't say that.
No, I'm not going to say that. That's so weird.
Whenever we are in a situation where we need an answer,
Immediate
we will-
answers.
Oh, yeah, Steph's
And
getting
it's
it
not
out
the
right now.
cards.
So Steph's got this gorgeous crystal necklace and basically we'll ask it questions. When it swings forward, it's yes. When it swings to the side, it's no. And then sometimes when it hovers, it's like, we're not sure what the answer is and it's up
yet
to you
be
guys.
determined.
Anyway,
it's a real thing.
it's a little bit crazy.
Anyway, so he asked if I wanted a second date. I said yes, and let's move on.
Let's not move on. Did you find him physically attractive?
Yes, he's cute.
Okay. Did you like the way he dressed?
Yes.
The age gap, did that feel like a big gap?
No, but what I will say is
Mhm.
because sis next to us, I'm not going to say she hijacked the date because we totally were open to it, but because it was literally like a 3-way date the whole time,
Yeah.
it kind of didn't allow for probably he and I to get like really, really into like, I don't know, the nitty gritties.
Yeah.
So straight off the bat, no.
Okay.
He did start talking about stocks though pretty quickly.
Dude.
He's a really smart guy by the sounds of things.
Okay. But you were like, what
I don't
does stocks mean?
No, I was like, oh, I started like a stock thing once.
When?
I did.
When
I bought that course for like $2,000.
Stephanie, you didn't do the
It was
course.
because we went to Europe instead. I did the opposite to investing in stocks and I spent all my money.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So the intention was there is what I said to him.
So where's his second date going to be?
I have no idea.
Have you spoken today?
Yes.
And what's the go there?
I asked what his star sign was.
And?
Well, it makes me wonder, does he think that's a red flag?
Mm.
You know how some guys are like, if she asks what your star sign is, run.
To be fair, I asked someone that the other day and he was like, uh-oh. And I was like, mwah.
I don't answer the question.
What is his star sign?
He's a Libra.
Ooh.
And I'm a Scorpio. So you can imagine I checked the compatibility like really quick.
And
It's there.
when you said star sign, did he know what his star sign was?
I actually just asked him when his birthday was. I didn't want to weak him out. So I said, when's your birthday? Bang. And I was like, okay, he's this.
Interesting.
Yep.
And his personality traits, do they feel very different to what you have been with in the past?
Okay, so you know sis sitting next to me that was like
Yeah.
doing this stuff on his face? She literally said to us, she goes, so is this a first date? And I go, yeah, it is. And then she goes, oh, and how's it going? And I went, yeah, he's cute as a button, like that. And then he got really like, fuck.
As a button. Did she say, oh, so were you born in the 20s? 1920s? It's cute as a button.
Well, I then said to him, because then he got all weird and she goes, well, go on, what are you going to say about her? It was hilarious.
and what did he say?
He like choked. Like choked to death. No, I'm kidding. He, yeah, he fully choked.
Whoa.
And then I literally went like this. Come on.
Oh, I'm triggered. So Steph does this thing every time I have to read a story on this podcast. I see her in my peripherals doing this as I'm reading to be like,
Hurry
the fuck
up.
up. Hurry the fuck up.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's really off-putting. So if Steph's date from last night, if you're watching this, mate, I stand with you.
You stick together.
Were there any like icks?
No icks.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah, good.
Okay, icks though.
Yeah.
This is fun. So
Yes.
what are some icks that you've had from like past dates?
First date icks. Let's both do them. I'm not just doing them. Past dates, so not this current date. Before we get into that though,
Okay.
we're the girls next door. So if you haven't already, like, subscribe, send it to all your friends because that's what good neighbours do. First date icks, when they're kind of rude to the waiter. That's an obvious one.
That's an obvious one. I feel like everyone says that.
Okay,
So
go. You do one.
This happened to me like 4 years ago. This guy asked me on a date. It was actually really cute. He wrote me a letter, put it on my car. He saw me in the fucking car park and was like, hey, and we had a yarn. I was like, oh, he was sort of cute. He was like, oh, I'll see you out in the water. He left. Then I went for a surf and he must have gotten out before I did because then when I got back, he left a note on the car.
But we hadn't seen it. We drove all the way to Melbourne and back.
So I messaged him, whatever. We ended up going on this date. I put in a little bit of effort. Like down the surf coast, you dress pretty chill anyway. So I didn't like go all fancy, but I put in a little bit of effort.
Yeah.
He got to the date, clearly put no effort in at all. Anyway, it was a coffee date. So we're like, oh, we'll get a coffee and then we'll walk along the river. He orders his coffee. I'm waiting for him to look at me and go, what would you like? He doesn't. And I think, interesting. He then goes to pay for his own coffee. And I was thinking, okay. Declines. And I think, uh-oh.
Which sucks for him so bad.
So bad, man.
Firstly, not to offer you to get yours. I mean,
It's
we
a
know
coffee, dude.
why. I know that, but if he's declining on his own coffee, he's not going to be able to double that.
Don't ask me on a date then. Or bring a BYO coffee.
Rob someone on the way to the date.
100%.
Pay for the damn coffee.
Busk before I get there. You know what I'm
Just
saying?
Something, yeah.
Anyway, so then that declined. So then I was like, well, this is awkward and I feel bad for him. So I said, do you want me to pay for your coffee? And he was like, no, I'll just, I've got some coins out or whatever. I paid for it. And I was thinking, fuck,
money.
okay.
Oh.
Anyway, then I ordered my coffee. We got a coffee and then we went and walked along the river, sat there for a bit. He's a sweet guy, but that was probably the
He
ick.
was so lovely.
He was really sweet.
But that is for sure something for me on the first date. The guy's paying. I'm sorry.
Well, the thing is, yeah.
In these scenarios, in that scenario.
Especially when he's the one that asked me on the date.
This
But
is it
also,
too.
it was like $4 coffee.
Yeah.
It's $4.
Yeah.
Come on.
Would you expect a guy, say you start dating a guy, would you expect them to pay for like every date?
Every date?
Let's say you go on 4 dates before you sleep together. Like you like each other, you hold out for a little bit, you get 4 dates in and then you're like, righto, I'm going to seal the deal here.
I'd love if he was forward and was like, I'll pay for, like if he wanted to, I'd be like, fuck yeah. But I would also offer the first date, I'd be like, yeah, you can pay
It's
for
yours.
the first one.
Yep.
And then from there, I'd be happy to be like, oh, I can grab this one.
Yeah, I'm the same.
And if he's like, no, I'll be like, hey, I'm not here to argue, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, but yeah, I'm not too hectic when it comes to that. But first date, yes, especially the first coffee.
Yeah, okay.
But that would be an ick for me. Sorry, that was a long-winded
That
story.
was the longest ick of all time.
You're an ick.
So your ick is poor people. You're going to hell.
Oh my God.
What?
This wasn't a first date story. I'm totally paying Steph out here. Is that how I say it? I don't even know
here
how
we
I'm
go.
going to say it, but guys. Steph was dating this guy.
Who?
He was an idiot. Let's just say.
Oh,
I won't
God,
name
that doesn't
names.
narrow it down.
All of them were. So they won't know if they're listening. None of them know who it is.
They weren't all.
Anyway, I can't hear. They have cauliflower ears. It's blocked. Anyway, Steph was dating this guy. That ended because he was a bit,
Still doesn't
he
narrow it
starts
down.
boxing. He starts boxing. He does a fight night,
No.
right? We were there because at the time
Oh,
our brother
God.
worked for the fight club, right? He walks out to his walkout song.
He gives me this whole spiel, will you please come, blah, 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 because we'd broken up not long before it. You were meant to come the whole time. My family's flying in for it, all the things. So I'm like, oh, I was meant to be going to this fight night anyway. So I was like, because it was our gym.
Oh my God.
So I was like, I'll just go. Like everything was fine. So I'll just go like, peace.
anyway, the walkout song. He gets into the ring. He starts acting like He is a wrestler from WWE, Rey Mysterio, where he is running back and forth in the ring, bouncing off.
He's bouncing. He's like looking at me.
Oh, okay. You don't bounce off the ropes. That's WWE shit.
The judges had told him off, like, stop bouncing on the ropes. Yeah, no worries. Then the fight starts. Ding, ding, ding. Then he goes to bounce on the ropes in front of the judges one more time.
In front of the judges' table. He slips through the ropes.
Through the ropes, yeah.
He slipped through the
and
ropes.
He was a big boy and he fell on all the judges. He gets up, he like looks at me, like finds me in the crowd. I'm like,
the biggest ick.
I'm like, this is over, if you know what I mean. I'm like, no. There is no getting past this.
That is Nick. That is Nick.
That's terrible for him.
Steph also dated this other guy. He was just a walking ick. But anyway,
because he couldn't catch a ball.
No, well, okay.
That
one thing about Steph and I, if someone is uncoordinated.
All of this is sounding really bitchy.
No, I know, but we were talking about Icks. So
that's fair enough. I agree. And it
So what do we want to talk about now?
Okay, moving on. Because the sun is setting and it's golden hour. Golden hour.
And we have a voicemail.
I know. How exciting. All right, let's hear it. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go.
Hey girlies, it's Begsy Moo here. I've got an absolute rogue yarn for the pod and I've titled it The Midnight Massacre. So for context, I live in the city now, but my parents still live in the country in my childhood home. So I go and visit them on the holidays and naturally was staying in my childhood bedroom. So anyways, Friday night rolls around, we head down to the local pub. I'm approximately 6 beveraginos deep when I spot a very sexy man at the bar. Now, this man was from a little country town called Broome. So for the sake of the story, we're going to call him Broome Boy.
Broome Boy.
Now, Broome Boy had spent the day surfing. So he actually copped the surfboard to his forehead and he had quite a decent cut above his eyebrow. It was all bandaged up, whatever. So one thing leads to another. I decide I'm going to sneak Broome Boy back into my parents' house like I'm a teenager again. So we're in the middle of doing the horizontal tango, if you know, you know. When I start feeling like these little drops of liquid landing on me. And at first I'm thinking, oh my goodness, this man is sweaty. But then one lands on my lip and it doesn't taste like salt. It tastes like metallic. So I'm paused there and I think, what tastes like metallic?
Blood.
And I realize his wound has opened up and is dripping on my face. It's on my chest. It's on my bed sheets. It is everywhere. Like genuinely look like I had been in a massacre. We turn the light on, Broome Boy sees the crime and immediately he starts spiraling. He goes white as it goes. He's freaking out. I'm trying to attempt to clean myself and the mess up before my parents wake up. But of course, it's too late. Who comes wandering down the hallway? My mother. And what does she see? She sees her daughter naked, covered head to toe in blood, a half-naked stranger having a panic attack, towels and blood everywhere, and me yelling, it's not what it looks like. So my mum had genuinely thought I'd been attacked. Broome Boy thought he was dying, and I'm there standing in the middle trying to de-escalate the both of them. Well, it is safe to say I have never brought a man home to my parents' house ever again. Anyway, love the pod, girls. Got plenty more stories where this one comes from.
Wow. What
a story. That should have been in our horror story section.
That was so a horror story. Dude, also like him freaking out.
Yeah.
Do less. It's like you've cut your head.
You knew you cut your head.
You're a surfer. We all get cuts, you know? It's like the shaka. But do you know what I mean? It's like you're fine. Although if she was covered in blood, that would probably be like pretty gnarly to see.
She's a nurse too, so she would be so like I don't think it would fully phase her.
Yeah, she would have clicked into like some sort of action nursey gear.
By the way, we know she's a nurse because she's one of our good friends.
And yes, she is. And we also know her mum. Let's call her mum. T-Dog. I'm interested to know, she's like the chillest, coolest woman on the planet.
Yeah.
But then there's also a side to her that doesn't take any shit.
Yes.
Which is where our girl gets the same kind of,
Yeah.
But you would think that if your daughter comes out covered in blood, she's going, it's not what it looks like.
Oh, did she say that?
Said that.
Oh my God,
Which
hilarious.
is a great thing to lead with
It is
because
good.
I wouldn't have even really thought of that. I would have just been like, we need to clean this
She's
shit up.
naked.
What?
Far out, Megs.
No.
Jeez Louise.
Thank God it was her mum that came out, not her dad.
Oh my God, that would be
I feel like that would have been worse.
wild.
Oh, God.
That's hilarious. Thanks for sharing that story. Amazing.
We need T-Dog's
We need-
perspective of this story.
We need her side 100%.
Okay, so our girl, we're not going to name you, but you know what we're saying. Get T-Dog's side, send in the voicemail. Unreal.
You said you have more stories. Send them in, girl.
Well, speaking of surfers and scars and all the rest of it,
Yeah.
that's why typically I like getting photos or whatever on this side because this side I have done an absolute number on.
Uh-huh.
So the story goes, this is kind of another situation where
Oh, here we go. Why do I feel like you're already going to drag me?
because, okay. No, it kind of was you.
Wait, sorry. It
Because you
actually
were just
wasn't.
dying for a surf this day of all days and it was a big stormy day.
Okay, you're adding the most
I've
amount
told
of
this
mayo.
story 8 million times
The
maybe.
shark story? I don't give a fuck how many times you've told this story.
What I'm saying is the story hasn't changed from the beginning. So I'm going to tell it how it actually happened.
In your head.
Basically, all surfers know, you check the forecast obviously, you kind of know what's coming. We knew what was coming the next day was a big storm. We don't hate rain. We do not
You don't
like wind. Right. There were like gale force winds coming through in the afternoon. So Holly's like, let's go for a surf. Let's go for a surf. And I'm like, it's shit weather. It's about to get worse. There's a storm coming.
Lie.
It's onshore or cross shore
Beep.
gale force winds.
If that's a lie
True.
detector sound.
True.
Fuck you.
True. So we paddle out.
Steph starts smiling, only half a smile. Psychopath.
We start paddling out in this one spot where you go out, you paddle for quite a while. So we're paddling out and I keep saying to Holly, I'm like, this isn't a good idea.
This is not true.
This is true.
Mayday. She's a freaking liar.
Guys,
Also
would
being
I lie to you?
Oh my God. Yes, she would, guys.
Would I lie to you?
Don't listen to it. Don't look at her eyes.
I could also still be drunk. I'm not sure. Listen, we paddle out. No one else is out. That's true.
No one else was out.
Because everyone knew gale force winds. Why would we fucking go out? Also longboards, 9-foot fiberglass. The fins are like 10, 11 inches.
We both decided to go out.
They're heavy.
Not just me.
You do not want to get hit by one of those things.
She's trying to blame something on me because she can't surf properly and her board hit her in the face.
Okay, who got to the nose first? Me. Anyway.
Who'd been surfing for about 20 years longer? You.
Yeah, because you're not actually a full surfer at heart.
No, you just
only came out because I would go out and you were obsessed with me and you want to hang out. Anyway, so we keep paddling out. It's dark, it's stormy. It's dark, it's stormy. We finally get out the back. I'm like, this is silly. That storm's not far away. You can see the dark clouds coming. You know when you can smell rain before it actually hits? You could smell it.
I'm going to jump in. Before this this incident happened, there's also another thing. When you're out in the water, you can sometimes sense if it feels really sharky, and it felt sharky this day. So I actually think this happened to
get us out the water.
avoid something that could have been worse.
Well, to be fair, this is the same spot where the great white shark was.
Exactly.
Years apart. But anyway, whole thing was, I say to Hole, I'm actually going to turn and go the first wave that comes because this storm is like going to hit any second now. It kind of already hit, just not the crazy, crazy winds. Anyway, we're waiting for a set to come. What happens? Winds come through, 1,000,000 miles an hour. I'm like, far
acting like
out.
I'm in control of the wind.
You brought the winds. Anyway, I turn the board. I paddle to go one of the waves. I'm surfing the waves. Now, this spot, again, if you get a good wave, you can surf the thing for like 500 meters, 800 meters.
Unless you're Steph, you're poo dancing the whole way.
Not true. Anyway, I am surfing this wave and I'm kind of just chilling on it because I'm like, this wind is crazy. All of a sudden, it felt like something hit my board.
Mm-hmm.
I thought something must have hit my board. I've basically gone to get to the nose on a part of the wave that I shouldn't have.
Yeah.
I knew that. But then all of a sudden, I go under the water.
God.
And as I come back up, I get, again, all I really remember is just as soon as I came up, I hardly got to open my eyes and bang, something's hit me in the face so hard.
Oh my God, vomit.
And because obviously when you're in the water and if you cut yourself, the blood it's like an 80s horror movie. It just I'd gone under the water and I could feel myself like kind of like losing the plot. So I'm just like trying to reach for my board. I don't know what's happened. I know I've been hit in the face. I know it's not good. I could feel something flapping.
Oh, God.
And that's when I looked at Hol and I was like, Hol, you need to get me in. And I turn and look at Holly. I thought my eyeball was hanging out of my face.
No, I thought it looked like her eyeball was hanging out of her face because her cut was so open that and there was so much blood because she actually hit a nerve.
Yeah.
She hit a nerve, so it was just like spurting blood and it was so open that it actually looked like her eyeball was hanging out of her face.
Yeah.
And she's like, get me in. And I was like, this is cool.
So Holly was literally like, hold your eyeball and I'm going to paddle and push. So she paddles, pushes the whole way in, which is legend. And we didn't realize that there were a few people on the sand the whole time filming or whatever.
Luckily, because I have no idea when it came to this. I was like, if there was footage of me that day, I was probably running around in a circle going, help, help, help.
Yeah. One of the guys there, he wasn't a doctor or anything, but he was an extra that works specifically on like medical scenes.
Yes.
For like TV shows.
So he's
and
like, do you have like a clean towel or t-shirt that hasn't that's been freshly cleaned?
Because you don't want sand in it. So he got 2 of his t-shirts that he'd just cleaned, which were absolutely ruined because the blood was like.
And it was like Patagonia, so it would have cost him a mint.
Yeah. So anyway, he tied them together, wrapped me up, and then I went and had surgery. But that's the massive scar. We could put in some old footage, and because actually
hectic.
Jimmy and Ruby came to visit a couple of days after, and you intercepted Jimmy on the way into the house before he came in because you were worried I'd like never look the same.
Oh, because Jimmy can sometimes say really tone deaf stuff, and I knew that, and I was like, if he says anything about her face because it's on her face,
Holly,
I am going to rip his head off.
Yeah.
So I was like, when you go in there, don't even react. Like if you think that it looks hectic, I don't even want to see it in your eyes that you're reacting.
Yeah,
okay?
He was so good as well.
He was great.
Yeah, but also Ruby would have given him that speech before he came in as well.
But I knew she would, but I was also like, just letting you know.
I'm doubling down on this.
Because it's her face.
Anyway, they did a pretty good job, but it goes from here through my eyebrows. So sometimes people will be like, do you have an eyebrow slit? And I'm like, oh, eye roll. And to the top of my forehead. Scar stories. Rock on. How good is that? I love a good voicemail.
Oh, they're the best.
Guys, if you've got any more stories, send them in through voicemail. We love hearing them.
And it's getting dark outside. You know what that means?
Oh, that was so corny. We did it at the same time. All right, it's officially dark out. It's time for confessions.
It is. I've got the first one.
Let's go.
This one's called the Khaki Catfish.
Okay.
Hey girls, I've got a massive confession for you. This one is from when I was younger, so I'd like to think, as Steph always says on the pod, that my prefrontal cortex has fully developed since then, and I wouldn't do this today. But here we go. When I was, again, much younger and the dating apps were still pretty fresh, I went through a bit of a phase of trying to pull most weekends. One Saturday night, I was having drinks with my housemates and ended up matching with this girl on Blender, I think it was back then. We got talking and she agreed to come around to our place. Now, I'm fully aware this sounds incredibly harsh, but when she arrived and I opened the door, let's just say she looked very different to her pictures. Catfished big time. We went into my bedroom and to try and navigate the situation, I told her I preferred to do it with the lights completely off. I thought it might help me get through it. But I swear to God, girls, when I laid down on that bed and went in for a kiss, I could literally feel her mustache brushing up against my top lip. It was just too much for me. I couldn't do it. I started repeatedly apologizing and told her it wasn't going to happen. To make it even worse, I asked her if she could get someone to come pick her up. It was so incredibly awkward. She left. I went straight back to having drinks with my housemates and tried to block out the whole situation. The next day, I went to drive down to the shops and I couldn't find my car keys anywhere, like absolutely anywhere. The only thing I could think of was to message this girl and ask if she'd seen them on my bedside table or something. She replied and straight up told me that she'd taken them to get back at me for being so rude. I know what I did wasn't great, but I was honestly gobsmacked. I had to play it completely calm so I could actually get my keys back, and I organised a time to meet up with her. We met at a local park. She handed over the keys and look, I'm not proud of it, but I gave her a massive spray. I told her what she did was absolutely psychotic. My question for the pod. I can't imagine you've ever found yourselves in this exact scenario, but have either of you been catfished? The only thing I can think of when it comes to catfishing, there was this guy that I was like friends with back in the day. He was a really like charismatic, funny dude. Again, for me, it was platonic, but he would edit. I don't know what he did because I remember speaking to him here and there. And again, it was platonic, but sometimes I was like, oh, he's cute and he's funny, whatever. And he's confident. But then when we caught up, he looked so different to his photos that I was like, dude, in your photos, you're hot. But in real life, his face, bless him, didn't match.
I feel like so many people are guilty of like, you know, I don't know, however long ago it was when all the Facetune and stuff first came out. It was like so many of us got into like just altering something, even if it's small, but it really, really got out of hand for some people. I haven't been catfished. I kind of actually did. Remember that story where I ran away to Sydney?
Yeah.
So the guy that I was like talking to on MSN before running away to Sydney, we were like talking, but it was like platonic, but like it wasn't. You know how you'd like stay up till like 2:00 in the morning?
Yeah.
And you'd hardly, like you'd have the phone near your pillow or whatever, but like you wouldn't even really be talking. You'd just be like on the phone to each other, like teenage shit.
Yeah, fun.
So fun. But we were like just mates, right? But we'd done it every night for a few months or whatever. So it was like, I guess you grow some sort of weird attachment.
Yeah.
And then by the time we'd actually ran away to Sydney, my girlfriend at the time, who was like the one I've referenced as like a little nymphant maniac.
Yeah.
She was very much like, when I get there, if he likes me, like, would you care if I did it? And I was like, no, girl, it's platonic, whatever. And she was like, okay, cool. But then as we were flying, she was like, hey, feeling about seeing so-and-so. And I was like, I'm pretty sure it's platonic, but I don't know, maybe it's not. And she was like, well, whatever, just let me know. He gets to the airport to pick me up. Same thing. He'd obviously altered his photos, something chronic
Whoa.
to the point where I've like looked past him to be like, and he's like, and I'm like, that's not him. Like I half look at my girlfriend because he can't hear me or see what I'm saying, but he's approaching. And I just go, you can have him. And she goes, no, you can have him.
No.
And I was like, no. It is platonic.
No.
It's platonic. But anyway, those stories suck. I feel like so many people got caught up in that.
I feel like girls would Facetune and stuff much more than guys would, but I also feel like it's gnarly when guys do it because I'm like, again, it feels like a thing chicks would more so do.
Guys could start doing like the abs. That's also a bit of a fear of mine too. Like even the whole like dating app thing, I'm like, oh, imagine putting up all these really, really rip photos of you, but like realistically, maybe you don't look exactly like that in real life.
I actually feel like it sometimes keeps me accountable. The last thing you want is to rock up and then someone go, oh, you look so different in real life and like not good different.
Yeah.
Like you look different, girl. You know?
Yeah, but also who the fuck makes those comments? I would never go up to someone and be like, you're so much prettier in real life.
Some people do that though.
No, I know that. I've got that a bunch of times.
Well, you just don't want,
thank you so much.
You're so much prettier online.
But like as if people say that.
People are gnarly.
Wow.
People, and that way, I think that way of the way they say it is, oh, you look different to your profile.
Oh,
I think
stop.
that's the bitchy, like, you're ugly, girl.
Okay, all right. I feel like a lot of that stuff is phased out now anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, okay, moving on.
Mm-hmm.
Because now we have the sealed section. This sealed section is called Silent Partner.
Okay.
Hey girls, you mentioned sex parties on the pod a couple of weeks ago and it got me thinking. I'm not sure if this is similar, but I was hoping to get your opinion on a situation before I potentially dive headfirst into it. Love this already. I'm on the dating apps like everyone else, but a little while ago, I actually managed to meet a girl out in the wild. I was at a bar and she approached me. Let's be honest, almost never happens to a bloke. We chatted for a bit over a drink and before she headed off, she asked if I'd be keen to go on a proper date.
Sorry. I feel like that would happen to a lot of blokes.
What, girls saying?
Walking up to them.
Really?
100%. And this is, look.
You
this
mean
isn't
this day and age?
This isn't me having a dig. I know people are loving to dig at bloody Aussie men at the moment, being like, they don't approach us. But I'm going to semi-agree with that. I feel like there's a lot of people these days, a lot of men that don't approach. So girls have to.
Yeah, true. But do you think girls are?
Approaching?
Yes.
Not really.
Well, exactly. What the hell? You've just debunked your own thing.
But maybe they are is what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to keep going. We chatted for a bit over a drink and before she headed off, she asked if I'd be keen to go on a proper date. I said, for sure. The following week, we caught up for drinks at another bar. Things were going really well. But as the night went on, she started asking me some pretty peculiar questions. She asked if I had any kinks or fetishes and if I'd ever shared a partner in the past. Her questions were definitely leading down a specific path. Then, towards the end of the date, she goes, look, I have a confession. She pointed to this bloke sitting all the way across the bar and said, "That's actually my husband."
Shit.
She then asked if I'd be interested in going back to their place to have sex with her while he watched, because it's something they're really into. She told me I didn't have to answer right then and there, just to think about it. And then she and her husband left the bar together. Girls, I don't know what to think. First off, I found it pretty weird that her husband had been sitting there watching our entire date from across the room without me knowing.
It feels creepy.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm wondering if he was secretly watching us the very first night we met at the bar too.
Ooh.
But at the same time, I wouldn't say I'm completely closed off to the idea.
Okay.
I'm a bit curious. And if I'm being honest, slightly flattered. The problem is I know absolutely nothing about the whole cuck thing. My question for the pod, have they gone about this the right way, or should I be a bit sus on how they went about it? Are there rules for this kind of stuff, or do I just rock up to their house, go for it, and he just sits in the corner and watches? Does he do anything else? How do I handle this?
I do think it's a little bit creepy that he's sort of sitting at the bar and watching. I feel like they could have just went on a date and the husband didn't have to sit there watching. That feels a bit like, yeah, that just feels creepy to me, to be honest. But also these people that sort of live in these little groups, they all have different rules in each of those relationships. So for them, one of them is that she, sleeps with someone and the husband watches. Personally, I'd feel a bit wigged out with a husband watching, if I was a guy and the husband was watching me have sex with his wife, I would feel like I could get murdered at any point.
Yeah, it's not my thing for sure, but people are into it.
No, for sure. But I'm just, in terms of hesitation, I get how some people
have
can
we
feel
said much about the sex party thing? Oh, okay. So, firstly, on sex parties.
Yes.
Obviously, we mentioned it.
Yes.
So, just to give it a bit of context, I obviously mentioned last week how I went celibate for a while, right? It was actually during my celibacy phase, that's when we went to a sex party.
Well, at the time too, I will say we were obsessed with, especially Steph, Louis Theroux. And at the time he was doing all these like experimental things and going into these communities.
He was like a journalist, but a really cool one.
Yeah, so Steph was like, I want to do that.
Yeah, so basically I was like, right, while I'm celibate, I also because I had a couple of the doozy boyfriends, that's why I went celibate, remember? So it was like, I was like, okay, maybe guys can't be monogamous. I was like, shit, and I'm so straight, so this kind of sucks. So maybe I need to explore like polyamorous kind of scene and see like what they're all about.
Yeah.
So the celibacy aligned with me absolutely being obsessed with Louis Theroux and the idea that men couldn't be monogamous. I don't believe that now. But basically that's where this little research came into things. So I was like, I know, sex parties. Now, the way this specific one worked was there was actually a very well-known place in the city that they keep it private, like a certain night here and there.
Yeah.
And this whole community, you have to be invited. So you have to be like in the know. This one was no sex on premises because it was at an actual venue. But they take your phone, they do all the things. By 9 o'clock, you're in lingerie, everyone.
Not only are we sisters going to sex parties
Little
together.
weird now that I look back.
Weird.
Yep. But we also knew that neither of us were going to be doing anything.
No, we weren't. And again, it was more like
research.
It was more research. But we get in there and we think,
No. I'm sorry, I have to jump in here. No, I do. Because the one big holdback from a lot of these kind of things was that Melbourne feels like a small place. There's also 4 of us siblings.
Yes.
So somehow someone knows
one of
someone, right?
Yes.
So the only concern going into this sex party was I really hope we don't know anyone at this sex party.
And then at the time we were like, these are small communities, like small. There was like 30, 40 people there.
Like,
you've got to be invited.
We'll
be fine. So we walk in there.
Oh my God.
Expecting not to see anybody. This guy V-lines for us. Oh, Nate Davies sisters.
Oh, God, honestly, I
cringe.
Cringe is an understatement. It's the understatement of the century. He goes, I went to school with your brother. And we're like, oh my God, he's going to tell Nathan we're at these sex parties. This sex party, right? So this was like the first, it went in stages. This was the first stage of 2 stages. They say like, did you guys like tonight? Would you like to come to the next party? So the next party is the actual sex party and it's in a house. Basically the people that kind of ran the community, so to speak, they held it at their actual house.
Yeah.
So we're like, yeah, we loved it. We'll come to the sex party. We rock up to this sex party, fur coats, lingerie underneath. Again, same thing. The etiquette was like you had the fur coat off come a certain time. Then come like 9:30, bang, everyone's naked. everyone's fucking.
On any TV screen that's in the house, porn everywhere. Then there's like, if people aren't having sex with each other, they're like on
giving
sex
a head
toys.
job or like on a big vibrator chair or like this massive chair. Remember the lounge room? One really cool thing about it was at the start of it when everyone got together. So the first party, you could have a few drinks. This actual sex party, no drinking, no drugs, nothing of the sort.
Not allowed to be under the influence of anything because it all needs to be.
It blurred the line of consent.
Exactly right.
So it was all very, very heavy consent based. So people would walk up and they'd start having a chat and mostly they'd be naked and then they'd be like, would you like to have sex? And I'm like halfway in my 3 years of celibacy. I've like still got my coat like this. This guy walks up, remember at the start of the night, and he goes, first timer? And I go, can you tell? And he was like, yes. This guy that walked up and asked, I can't remember if he asked me or you.
He asked me. He walked up and he was like, would you like to have sex with me? And I said, no, thank you.
Anyway, then he comes to me, sloppy seconds. And
he's like, look, I'm not happy about it, but would you like to have sex with me?
No, we didn't say that. We just started talking. And then, so my thing was back to Louis Throw thing. I liked like asking questions. So who's your partner? So they all had partners, but Holly and I, mostly all really long-term relationships. But so we were thinking originally, polyamorous, it's a certain set of rules. No, each couple has their different set of rules. So this guy and his wife, they only had sex with another couple. There was another couple that were like, no, we only have threesomes and it's only with another girl.
Yeah.
There was one couple, I'm pretty sure the guy out of the couple was actually gay.
And
they'd been married for like 10 years or something like that.
And she could go off and have sex with anyone she wanted really, and he would sort of just be like, I don't know.
But the guy that asked you to have sex with him, remember? I was like, so what about you? What's your setup and who are you with and whatever? And he was like, I've got a wife of 10 years and blah, blah. And I said, is she here tonight? And he goes, yeah, that's her over there. And he points in the lounge room and there's 3 guys sitting there and she's going from one guy to another to another. And I am in absolute shock. But I'm acting like, cool.
You know? I say that all the time.
Yeah, normal. I'll introduce myself later. She's a little busy. It was confronting, amazing.
But it was funny because like some people clearly knew that you and I weren't going to be doing anything. And one person was like, would you like to come try this sex toy?
And we felt like we had to do something.
We had to do something because we weren't doing anything.
So we were like, sure.
And we had to like sit on like a little like
it's not like a full on sex toy.
No.
It was a seat.
It was almost like
it was a vibrating seat.
It was a seat and you sat on it and it would just vibrate. So it was like,
so we literally sat on it in fur coats like, we're like, this thing's really cool. Looking at each other like, when do we get off? This is so weird.
I know. And then we left and we were both like, look, that's up to them what they want to do, but never like not our thing.
Yeah,
not our thing.
Yeah. And they were like, you're welcome back whenever you want, girls. And we were like, that was gnarly. So yeah, that was a time. But back to his line of questioning about like, what's the rules here? That's the point. All the couples have actually different rules. But what I would say is that's not on, like in terms of if he's actually watching the dates.
Again, that's what I mean. People have different rules, but it just feels a bit creepy. There's
like as the third party, it's like that's not fair. You should be in the know as well.
Or it's like if they went on a second date and then she said, look, I'm actually in an open relationship and my partner likes this, and then you spoke about it, that's different. But yeah, the first time and then feeling like he was there and then also being like, maybe he was watching the other interaction, that would have felt weird.
We're obviously both super monogamous, but I actually love not the idea of like a polyamorous relationship, but like I love hearing people's stories around it and their whys.
Interesting. It's interesting. It's not my
all
forte,
got different like kind of different reasons and different kind of kinks.
Yeah,
which is cool, I guess.
Yeah.
But also some will have like a primary partner, a secondary partner, whereas others will be like, no, we're just primary partners and we invite a third party.
I wonder if they have like a different wiring of the brain, especially the women. Because I just go,
you just don't know how.
I'm very monogamous, but I don't get it.
Yeah, I know.
Like I'm not judging. I just could never.
Well, listen, back to this guy with needing his advice. I mean, if you're not fully against the idea, just ask the questions.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if it feels weird, don't do it.
And also, you could even flag being a bit like, guys, that did feel a bit creepy.
But also, this is the whole thing with this scene is the consent thing, right? So if you're like, so what do I do? Do I just rock up and just he sit in the corner? Ask these questions. Be like, okay, before I agree to anything, lay it out for me. What does it look like?
Yeah. Or maybe ask actually if they go to sex parties, then go to the sex parties with these guys, see if you trust them. And then if you still trust them, then maybe go and have sex with the wife.
Anyway, whatever people are into.
Yeah.
Really. Do you hear that? Cue the eerie music. It's time for horror stories. Oh, God, that was corny. All right, Hole, you got the first one?
I do have the first one. Okay. Mine is called Strikeout Date.
Okay.
I work at a bowling bar in the city that does kids' parties during the day and turns into a trendy date spot at night. I manage the day shifts, and there is this absolutely gorgeous guy who manages the night shifts. We always leave a handover report for each other on the bar counter. One morning, his report was sitting there with a scrunched up napkin on top. I went to chuck it out but noticed a note scribbled inside. You looked really hot today. Can't wait to see you again tomorrow. Girls, I had been crushing on this manager for months. My heart fully did a backflip. I grabbed a pen and wrote right back, "What else can't you wait to do?" Wink face.
Wow, get it, girl.
Get it, girl? We went back and forth like this for 2 weeks, leaving these secret flirtatious little napkins. I was so careful to only do it when the venue was empty because we could have been fired. The suspense each morning was giving me life. Then I picked up a napkin one morning and written inside was, "Do you want to get a drink tonight after work?" With the name of the bar and a time, I wrote back, "Absolutely." The night rolls around and I am buzzing. The sexual tension was through the roof. I got to the bar, but I couldn't see him anywhere. Suddenly, I felt a tap on my shoulder. I turned around, smiling, ready to see my hot manager.
No.
It wasn't him. It was a guy I had never properly spoken to in my life. He looked at me and said, "I'm so glad you could make it." The horror hit me like a brick. The napkins were never from the hot night manager. They were from one of the casual cleaners who works at the venue. He was the one finding the notes on the counter.
No. Was he hot?
Obviously not. My brain was short-circuiting. The poor guy had been saying some pretty raunchy, explicit things on those napkins, and I'd been matching his energy the entire time. I couldn't just sprint out, so I stayed for exactly one drink and spent the whole time dropping hints to firmly plant him in the friend zone. My question for the pod, I doubt you've ever been as stupid as me, but have you ever had to put someone in the friend zone?
Have we ever had to put someone in the friend zone? To be honest, that's like my number one go-to.
To be honest, same.
I friend zone everybody and real quick.
And even like ones that you find hot.
Yeah, them especially.
Yeah, it's weird. That's probably why we're single. Everyone's like, "Why are you single?" And we're like, "Because you're in the friend zone, bitch."
Do you remember when I met that big dog football player? I'm not naming his name and neither of you.
Wait. Give me a hint.
It was at Hunky Dory's.
Oh my God.
Let's just say he was one of the big dogs and he was a glamour. Our mate played with him at the time.
Yep.
They're walking down Bay Street. They're walking past Hunky's. Our mate comes over, says hello.
This is
I'm
so
sitting
embarrassing.
there. I instantly click into my masculine because I'm like, don't you think you're going to try and get away with me? I don't know why I would even think like that, but I did. I was like, no, I'm friend zoning this whole situation real quick.
Even though he didn't even like
no implications whatsoever.
He was even
did not imply a thing
anywhere with Steph.
He's probably like, you're yuck. Like, are you kidding yourself? Anyway, so our friend introduces us. I don't know why I'm telling this story, but the people that know it are going to love it. And he looks at me and he goes, "Hey, how you going?" And I go like this. I go, "Sup?"
And for those who are listening and they can't see the visual right now, she threw up a shucker, said sup, and didn't do like, she did a head nod that wasn't like a cool head nod. It was almost like a guy, like
masculine,
a really masculine head nod.
You know how Dad does that thing where he goes like this?
They do the stink face.
Yeah.
Like the bottom lip.
Yeah.
The bottom lip goes and it's like.
I did all of it at once. I did a shucker. I did the stank lip. I did the head nod and I said sup. And I was like.
I don't want her to be my sister, really.
I don't want to be me.
She's in her 30s, but I'd love to be for her to be adopted out.
Then. This is like early-ish 20s. And he was just like, sup. And I was like, the fuck? Oh. I was like, put my head in my fish. I was like, fuck.
Head in your fish?
We're at Hunky Dory's.
Oh, okay.
You are a real step behind tonight. It's driving me insane, to be honest.
Oh, mate.
Almost as insane as me actually sharing that moment because that sucked. That was me kind of friend zoning. And he wasn't even trying to get out. He didn't even know he was in. He was like, who the fuck are you? Anyway, but otherwise, yeah, I try and friend zone everyone.
Wow.
Which
same.
is bad.
I remember I tried to friend zone this one guy when I was like younger. Like we were young as. I was like 15. He'd laid on me thick like every time basically and be like, I really like you and blah, 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 blah and whatever. And one time I was like, oh, look, obviously I think you're lovely and all the things, but I'm just not into it type thing. Like try to friend zone him, whatever. And he's like, well, yeah, I don't even find you attractive anyway. Like I like your best friend.
Oh my God. That was an actual cliche. When they tried to like pick you up or slide in, you'd be like, oh, like I just kind of see this as a friends thing. And they'd be like, well, you're ugly anyway.
Yeah.
And you'd be like,
I'm fat. And I'm like, oh.
And I like your best mate. And you're like, oh.
Yeah, literally.
Okay.
And I was like, dude, what is wrong with you?
Okay, well, I've got a horror story. Mine's called Highway to Hell. Hey girls, love the pod. I'll jump straight into things. A few weeks ago, I met up in the city for a first date with this guy. We hit it off instantly. One drink turned into two, which turned into 6 or 7. I don't normally do this on a first date, but he invited me back to his place and I was feeling the vibe, so I said yes. He ordered the Uber. We got into the back seat and look, much like Steph in her prime, there was some pretty sloppy making out going on.
Oh.
I was completely distracted. But after what felt like an eternity, I finally broke away to look out the window, expecting to see a familiar inner suburb street. Instead of skyscrapers and apartments, all I could see were pitch black roads and massive gum trees flying past.
Oh.
Well, she was distracted, remember? Making out, teenage dirtbag. A little knot of panic hit my stomach. I literally put my hand on his chest and said, wait on a second, where do you actually live? He looked at me completely confused and went, Kilmore, why? Girls, my heart stopped. For anyone listening who doesn't know Victoria, Kilmore is a country town about an hour and a half drive out of Melbourne.
Kilmore.
Holly, that's not what it means.
This is a donkey sound. There's donkeys in Kilmore.
You're making this not scary.
Sorry.
We were practically in the bush. I choked out. Why the hell didn't you tell me you lived in the middle of nowhere? And he straight up replied, well, you didn't ask. The suspense of being trapped in a moving car heading deep into rural Victoria with a stranger was too much. I looked at the driver and said, turn around and take me back. The guy started arguing, shouting that we were over halfway there and that I could just catch the V-Line train back to the city in the morning. What the actual fuck?
What?
We both started screaming and yelling conflicting directions at the Uber driver. The driver fully cracked the shit, slammed on the brakes, pulled over onto the gravel of the side of the dark highway and told us to both get the hell out right now or he was calling the police.
What?
So
the police?
So there we were, left on the side of the highway in the freezing cold, surrounded by gum trees, absolutely screaming at each other. No Ubers were accepting fares out there.
Dude.
So we were both desperately calling local taxi companies. Finally, a single taxi appeared in the distance. It pulled up, but it was the one he had ordered.
Oh, great.
He opened the door to get in. You cannot seriously leave me on the side of a highway alone in the dark. He looked at me completely deadpan and said, get in and come back to mine then. I told him there was zero chance of that happening. So he looked at me and had the absolute audacity to ask, well, can I get in and come back to your place in Melbourne instead?
Rather that than going back to his at this stage.
Luckily enough, the taxi driver told him to get out and took me all the way home.
Thank God for the bloody taxi driver. What did the first do?
My question for the pod. Have you ever found yourself caught in an awkward situation or a bizarre location, looking around and wondering how on earth am I going to get home?
Have I? Have you?
You know my runaway to Sydney story when I was 16 with my two best friends at the time?
Yeah.
Totally. There was a moment when we were like, how the hell did we get here? Don't ask me why. Filthy little teenagers. So we get in the car with this girl that we had met in Sydney that was friends with the guy that we were staying with. Okay. She was a year older, so she had her license and she was like, I'll drive you around and we'll check places out. Like, it'd be so cool and so fun. We're like, yeah. Anyway, so we do that and these older but like hot guys pull up in a car next to us. What does my mate do? Flashes. Don't ask me why. This is the nymph one I'm talking about.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. Anyway, the guys are like, they zoom up to the next light and then she pretends to like start making out with the other girl. No.
Oh my God.
I don't do that shit. Anyway, like I was there for
You
it.
were never saw me. I'm a shocker.
I'm like, sup, bro. I'm trying to friend zone them. I'm like, nah, bro, not me. But these ones, yeah. You know?
You're
Anyway.
like, you can smash these ones for sure, but not me, bro.
Anyway, so they pull up the lights. We pull up the lights. I'm like, girls, this is getting ridiculous. Same thing. We pull up the lights. Then all of a sudden, we're like, righto, we're turning left. It's a side street. They're not going to go down here because we're like trying to find the house. What happens? They turn left. And we're like, getting a bit weird. We turn right. What happens? They turn right. We're in suburban streets at this point. Then all of a sudden, we're like, okay, this is getting a bit weird. Maybe we try and lose them. So she kind of puts her foot down a bit, tries to lose them, goes down a side street, goes down another side street. They're proper following us at this point. We get down this dark street. Yeah. It's a dead end.
Oh, God.
We do a U-turn. Who comes through into the dead end?
Fuck.
They do.
Okay.
I'm like, shit. You guys have pretended to hook up. They've probably gotten all weird and horny.
They've probably got little boners.
They're on a chase. Yeah, it was actually scary. And
a little.
So we're nose to nose, but we're in a dead end. Yeah. And they've parked their car parallel, so it gave us less space to get around. And they get out of the car. We're screaming our heads off. Like, I actually forgot this happened. Anyway, and we're like, no, go away, like go away. And then the girl that was driving at the time puts her foot down and like kind of not goes at one of them, but kind of like revs it.
Whoa.
And he was like, no, like that. And then
she ran him over.
And then she actually there was space to get around. So she just drove around. But we were like, hurry up, because we were scared he was going to get in his car
and chase you
and keep chasing us. So we kept looking back at like the different lights and stuff or the different streets. Are they there? Have we lost them? Are they there? Have we lost them? They weren't there. Obviously after that, they were like, okay, we've taken it too far. But that was definitely a moment where we were like, how did we end up here? Have we gone too far? Anyway, dude, teenagers do some rogue shit.
That's it, everybody.
Oh, well, that's the end of that.
That is the end of that, but that was fun.
Guys, if you haven't already, like, subscribe, send it to all your friends because that's what good neighbours do. But until next week, bye.
See ya.